Hi all you folks in the DFF Fitness Fanatics group. Laura and Chris asked me to do some short informational videos on eating healthier and learning a little bit about macros and how you can kind of organize your life using all whole food. This is going to be part one of a series of different types of posts about food types and macros to help you get back on track and start eating optimally for either aesthetic or performance purposes. This first video is going to focus on basically whole foods. And I think a lot of times people get confused on what they need to be eating, and eating healthy is not really that difficult if you stay to the following rule. The following rule is I'm going to eat mostly all whole foods. So all whole foods is meat, lean meat, vegetables, fruits, nuts, and seeds. That's basically all you have to follow. So as far as going through some of the macros goes, within there's whole foods, there's the protein group, which to represent the fish side, I have a piece of really nice salmon here. Any kind of fish works. Different kinds of shellfish if you can tolerate that. Scallops, shrimp, mackerel, sardines are great. Salmon. All those oilier fish have really good omega-3 fats in them. Those are great. If you're more on the lean side, you'll lean towards cod, mahi-mahi. Different kinds of white fish have fewer fat grams in it. Depending upon what your macros do, you'll choose those over fattier fish like salmon. And then we get into lean proteins. I took a trip through our whole pantry today and just picked out some of the whole foods that we use a lot, whether or not we're trying to build muscle or we're going to get faster or lose weight or the different kind of things we do. So back to protein. This is lean beef. We pick beef loin a lot. The macros are really good, so it's pretty well protein with some pretty good saturated fat in it. I have some lower fat ham. I have chicken thigh, which is really good in saturated fat. I also have chicken breast. So depending upon what my macros are going to do that day, I'm either going to choose chicken breast or chicken thigh. If I need some more fat grams, I'll do that. We have both fat-free and whole milk in our pantry. Obviously, we've got eggs. And the thing about eggs are great for really good saturated fat. They're also good for protein. Keeps you really satisfied and kind of keeps the hungries away. But the awesome thing about the egg as well is the egg is really good for dietary cholesterol, and dietary cholesterol specifically for men is very good for testosterone. So if that's one of the things you might be kind of lacking in, testosterone is great, and it does really good with that cholesterol that comes with eggs. I have a whole pile of cheese. I eat cheese really sparingly. It's really calorie dense. It's got some protein in it, got some really good fat in it, but really do a good job weighing your cheese because you can get kind of carried away on that. And that brings us on over to this other side. This is a little bit of yogurt. It's very good for your digestion, has some protein in it, a little bit of carbs. And then we kind of get into the fats. So this is real butter. We use quite a bit of real butter here. My olive oil, which dissipated. I have some coconut oil here. And then I get into the nuts, which is also one of those foods that have both proteins, fats, and carbs in it. So I have some pecans. I have some natural peanut butter. I have some walnuts, macadamia nuts, almonds that are dusted with pure cacao is a really great little desserty type of treat that you have. Then we get into the starchier carbs. Everybody always wants to alienate the carb, make it seem like a demon. It really isn't. It really fuels your workouts. It helps you with energy. It helps you feel better. It gives you a little bit of serotonin response. And please don't be scared of this humble little potato. Potatoes aren't very good for you if you're eating them in French fry and potato chip form, but if you're eating boiled or slightly processed or slightly boiled, grilled, baked potatoes, those are great. White rice is awesome fuel for endurance athletes. Oatmeal has quite a bit of, a little bit more protein in it, some really good carbs in there for you. Sweet potato is a staple almost for any healthy person as far as carbohydrates go. So those are the starchier carbs that are good for fuel, they're good for muscle building, they're good for energy. You can either eat these or leave them and eat the lesser calorie dense foods, but we utilize a lot of sweet potato and white rice in our diets. So which brings me to the main carbohydrate part besides the complex carbs. Then we have these less calorie dense food in that you have the leafy green vegetables like spinach and arugula and the different designer lettuces. We also have the fruits. I always tell my clients that 2 servings of fruit a day is great. A serving is probably a cup. It's not 3 cups, it's 1 cup. So, or 1 apple, 1 orange, 1 banana, a cup of blueberries, a cup of raspberries. I kind of tell my clients too, if you want to get those really good antioxidants and micro nutrients, go to the berries. Go to strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, blueberries. Those are great fruits to boost your immune system and get those micros that you need. They're also very good for digestion. As we deal with the COVID virus, citrus is great to boost that vitamin C in your immune system. So don't neglect the citrus, especially in the wintertime. And then we kind of get into the whole bag of vegetables. I didn't really want to bring a lot of vegetables in, but we always have Brussels sprouts, we always have broccoli, we always have carrots, a little bit of tomatoes in there. They can be a little bit more of an irritant to some people. And then we also have some fermented, this is supposed to represent my fermented side. So kraut, kombucha, things with vinegar in them, those are all great for digestion and really should be added to that list of whole foods that you are doing. The one thing that I did forget to tell you is about the avocado and the fats. So avocado is a very, very good fat. So then the last thing I wanted to talk about as far as whole foods goes is just a little bit of the seasoning. So I have a chive, I have some thyme, I have some basil, some rosemary, some sage, and there's a piece of garlic. You want to make any of this taste better, season it. Put some salt in there. Salt is great. It's great for metabolism. It's great for electrolyte balance. If you're doing a whole bunch of endurance work, salt it. Salt it, salt it, salt it. If you're eating whole foods, you're not getting added salt from all of the chips and boxed things and boxed dinners. Salt this food. It's really, really good for you. There's a product called Real Salt that I use quite a bit. Also, make sure your salt has that iodine added to it because it is it really helps our bodies work, and we need that in order to metabolize things.
It's for your thyroid.
And for your thyroid from the peanut gallery. I also have some cinnamon, which Ed doesn't really agree with me, but it's very healthy, very good for you as well. And I also forgot in the complex carbs, a little bit of cream of rice cereal. All of these things, I try to stick to the non-inflammatory side, so I'm going to try to stay away from added sugar. I'm going to try to keep my wheat consumption at a minimum, and I'm going to try, even though that dairy is on here, I will try to stay away from a lot of dairy because I personally do have a little bit of a problem with dairy. So that is a trip around our pantry, and basically for anybody that's wanting to eat healthy, if you do a pretty good job of eating things off of this board or things like this that comes either from, you have to kind of know where the thing comes from. If it's a whole food, you know exactly where it came from. It was picked off a tree. I can tell which body part of the animal it came from. I know what a loin looks like. I know what a thigh looks like. I know that that meat came from a specific animal. I know what a fish fillet looks like. If you can't identify where it came from on the animal or from the tree or from nature where it was at, then pass it by. That's the biggest thing on these whole foods. And when you cook those things at home, it is minimally processed. So we're talking grilled, baked. We fry a few things in olive oil, which is great. Try to stay away from vegetable and canola oil. Those things are very highly inflammatory, and a lot of people can get some gut irritation and some acid reflux and different kinds of things, and just overall malice from those cooking oils that a lot of restaurants and things use. So if you can bring this thing home, and I'm going to post a grocery list as well, if you can bring this stuff home, utilize eating all whole foods, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to eat less than you have been eating, because this isn't as palatable as highly palatable foods that are in the grocery stores, and that stuff has been engineered to make you want to eat more. So if you're eating all things from nature, you're going to eat less calories. There's was a study that put people all on all whole foods and weighed and measured everything. The people in that study ate 500 calories less than people in another study that were given, in the same study that were given all processed foods. So if you can stick to all whole foods, you're going to feel better, you're going to perform better, and that weight will come off, and you're not going to be hungry. You're going to be full, because nature gives us exactly what we want. So this has been part 1 of this series on how to eat a little bit better, learn a little bit about macro coaching. So if you have any questions, feel free to post on this, and I'll try to get back with you. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.